Hello, everyone. Welcome to DevStandup episode 18. Our guest speaker is Robert Krikk. Robert is a senior automation quality engineer in Pipedrive, and today he's going to present us Pipedrive's QA Playbook, way of working, AI experiments, and future ideas about the topic. I would like to hand over the microphone to Robert, and we could kick off the session. So, Robert, here you are.
Yep. So hello from my side. As mentioned, I will today be talking about Pipedrive's quality playbook and what's maybe like more unique to us. And the topics, will be the way of working, both like the whole engineering department and the QA team. Then I will talk about more QA team specific AI experiments we've taken, and also I will go into the future ideas, what we currently have on the roadmap, and then it's time for the questions and answers. So let's start with the way of working, and what do I see is like maybe a bit more unique compared to other companies. So first of all, we are following this principle called you build it, you break it. It means that software engineers, when developing the code, they are also responsible for, let's say, testing it and breaking it, which means that this, how to say, standard acceptance testing where QA is involved for, let's say, each PR or something like that is like not that relevant for us. And why we're doing it is that we want to avoid bottlenecks, and we see that there is actually like no other way if you're doing like somewhere between 600 to 1,600 deployments per week. And we have introduced a static code analysis tool that will give you like this initial feedback already on the PR level, what we call the Sonar Cube. And we're like setting quality gates for different types of services. Our QA team is actually more like involved in the tooling side. We are also part of the software engineering framework, and we are supporting the engineers by enabling them to test their code. We, for example, have libraries to extend the end-to-end testing. We are using Cypress, that is JavaScript framework, but it's heavily under a paywall, and to use only the open source version of it, you like have really limited hands. So we have like extended the capabilities and implemented some stuff there on our own. In addition to that, we also have implemented services that are actually collecting test-related metrics. And then we are actually using those Grafana dashboards, as you can see on the screenshot, and building alerts on top of that so that the development teams will be informed about it if some thresholds are violated. And in addition, for like one example, what we're currently working on is this auto checklist tool. We are now introducing a tool that allows you to use either this expression-based evaluation to create the checks against everything, or prompt-based. So it means that, for example, this tool can, let's say, run against all of your repositories and check if you have a Claude MD for file in the root folder and if its contents are actually valid. So this is also something we're currently doing in cooperation with a couple teams. But we are still feeling that we are a little bit lacking from the acceptance testing side when it comes to bigger features. We have like pretty good coverage from the PR level, but usually when we are, let's say, releasing something under a feature flag, it includes like several services, and it's difficult to test all the corner cases from, let's say, end-to-end testing or integration testing or unit testing perspective. That's why we introduced this bug bashing, which is similar to acceptance testing, but the people who actually are part of it are different. We are including all the developers, product managers, QA engineers, designers, and whoever actually wants to join. And those are usually happening like 1 or 2 weeks before a bigger release. Everyone comes together. The team lead who is facilitating this initiative called Mission in Pipedrive context will facilitate the session, prepare the test scenarios. Everyone will go through it, report findings, and also do some exploratory testing. Also, if the feature, let's say, is released, we are also with the QA team tracking trends. And for example, we have created some microservices that are updating bug priorities in Jira, and it's like a couple formulas there which are taking in consideration the MRR of the customers that are linked to the bug ticket, which are coming in from the intercom. And then we are like automatically creating those priorities. In addition to that, we are also creating some tribe or let's say development team level SLAs that is checking more closely how much, let's say, of those high priority tickets are open at the time. And if they are violating those thresholds, we are also alerting those development teams that some kind of action, follow-up action is needed. Another metric that we see is really useful is the defect injection rate. It's the total number of production bugs divided by total number of successful deployments and then multiplied by 100. Then it's like rather subjective metric, but we still see like how much bugs we are introducing in production compared to the total number of deployments. And what we are also doing is this root cause analysis for bug tickets. This is also fully automated. When developers, let's say, are moving their tickets to done status, they also need to like actually later on mention what was the root cause of it, categorize it, and later on we can make some analysis on top of it and see what the trends are that the teams are struggling most with. For the bigger initiatives that I mentioned previously called missions, we are also doing some kind of release compliance. The quality team is actually like checking if the release checklist, which contains, let's say, up to 50 checks and is already started to fill in from the beginning of the mission. It means that, say, you need to have this proper CI/CD setup, and also it means that you have this bug pass session facilitated, etc. And there also same applies from privacy and security teams who are doing similar checks as well, but in their areas. And here on the right screenshot, you can see like some parts of the bug bashing the template that we have. There's also these test scenarios in below, but it was just too wide, so I showed that what the initial idea is and how we are tracking it. Now, yes, let's go to the fun part, the AI experiments now that is gaining, let's say, a lot of popularity. And also, our organization is also that is now, let's say, experimenting with this AI native engineering approach, which means that we are like prompt first, even like before the coding, not even in the let's say research, where we go prompt first and ask, let's say, about our ideas and like get some, let's say, input already from that phase. This will help us to, let's say, iterate more quickly, but this is also causing some issues because if you iterate more quicker, there are also more deployments and more potential issues. This is where we, let's say, started with a first experiment to, let's say, actually use this static coded analysis tool, SonarQube, and it's like providing this MCP. And what we introduced in our team that also can be currently used by other teams is that we get this cloud code custom command cleanup, Sonar cleanup, which sets up you the SonarQube connection using a token. Then it will go and check your master branch coverage issues, let's say code smells, maintainability issues, everything, then maps them down, fixes them, creates a pull request with fixes. And if it sees that the pull request, let's say, has some additional issues, then it will keep on iterating and iterating until, let's say, there is some kind of MVP in place. Another thing that we have currently tried out is this automatic end-to-end test generation. While we see that test generation is like rather efficient for unit and integration level testing, we also had this question like how we can use it to make more effective end-to-end tests, because usually this means you have access to the UI, you have actually got familiar with the feature itself, set up some locators that the end-to-end test can use. And we tried to automate the process fully, and we found out that there is this Playwright MCP, which is like really similar to the Playwright end-to-end testing tool itself, but it's not meant actually to, let's say, do some assertions or test. It just uses the browser, and whatever you prompt to us, it's trying to complete it there. What we did is that we gave it access to our dev environment, gave the credentials, told that go and check this feature, try to develop some kind of test suite on it, collect all necessary things we need to create like efficient Cypress end-to-end tests, and then try to like actually implement the test itself. This initiative was, let's say, somewhat a failure because the Playwright MCP part of it was like really powerful. It was able to go into the environment. It was able to collect everything needed, but there was some gap in transferring that knowledge to the actual tests, where the output there was, let's say, too different at times. Sometimes it was creating acceptable code, sometimes it actually went crazy, even if we had like, let's say, rather a specific term set what it can do. And this is why we're currently now also doing most probably a follow-up experiment, how to try it fully on the Playwright. Because yeah, we feel that this MCP and Cypress just don't work together, and Playwright is anyways a better idea from this AI native perspective, as they are open source. They have a lot of contributors, and there are also like already some free AI capabilities. And yeah, one of the last experiments is also that we are also having this end-to-end test impact analysis a custom command in Claude. And yeah, what it does is that it checks your PR, what you changed there. And as we have those libraries that have, let's say, a lot of our helper methods using private APIs, public APIs, it's actually able to map down which change is actually a breaking change. And it's not something we're currently like thinking to run, let's say, for every PR, but rather on demand with a manual trigger. Future ideas. We are now looking into creating this kind of agent that helps us with automatic debugging of issues, let's say in actual live or production environments, because currently we still do it manually. Let's say we have like some kind of notification that, okay, some scenario is testing in the production environment. We have to go in, check the report, check, let's say, relevant logs in Grafana. But now that we actually developed this internal MCP server in-house and have actually access to all those data sources, Grafana, GitHub, Jira, Slack, whatever, it's like up to 70 tools. We now feel that we would really benefit from creating it like into an actual agent that we can call out. And we already are using this internal MCP server to do it during one call, and we have actually found it really effective. It's able to find was the let's say the deployment that caused the issue. It's able to find out even like why the issue let's say why the test later on passed, and what rollback was able to fix it. And now we see that it will definitely increase this productiveness, because currently I guess this debugging can take tens of minutes, if not hours, depending on the issue. Another initiative what we are currently working on is critical user flows. Those are like critical user flows from end user perspective, the actual customers of Pipedrive. What we already have is that we have covered all those happy path cases with end-to-end tests to keep it, let's say, as maintainable as possible and as quick as possible. We feel that everything else should be covered in unit or integration testing levels. What we are now also thinking is that is mapping those test scenarios to the endpoints that are used in them, and then measure, let's say, performance and how they are performing, so we can even build some additional alerts on top of that, and would have like full control of what's happening in those critical user flows. And also, one place where these critical user flows tests are used is currently an ongoing initiative about quality risk profile we're working on. Why we're working on that is that usually there is issue understanding like how the general state of quality is doing, because everything is good usually when no one is pinging you and asking about anything, and then nothing is broken, etc. And we're like never cannot like actually have some qualitative or quantitative values visible to everyone to understand if we're doing great or not. This is why we're introducing these different risk profiles. And good example would be that, let's say, if we are doing good based on that document, then we allow developers to deliver quicker. Let's say they will run only those service-specific tests. And let's say if the risk is elevated, we've had some incidents or some just bigger bugs, we will enforce that there are some, let's say, organization level smoke tests, etc., run in addition when they are trying to deploy. So just that there is some additional quality assurance. Yep, and thank you. This was pretty much it. And now it's time, I guess, for the questions.
Yeah, Robert, thanks a lot to give us insights about how the Pipedrive QA team works. The AI part was interesting. I want to ask your take on it. That how do you think right now AI is effective decreasing the workload for the QA team on your experience?
Yeah, I see that it's how to say, it's really effective, but also let's say purely from my experience, it's only effective if you are using it at areas you already have the expertise at, and you can validate what the change is about. If you're working on, let's say, with the new technologies and you're not so sure about what you're creating, this will actually, I feel, cause additional headache and multiple rounds of, let's say, PR reviews. But yeah, in general, I feel like it definitely helps, but only if you use it the correct way.
Do you, let's say, how do you define that, let's say, the part of the cycle should be done by AI, let's say, and other part actually shouldn't be touched by AI because it can cause some mess? How do you define it?
Let me think if I understood correctly. How should I evaluate in which areas I should use the AI and which areas not?
Yeah.
I would say that I wouldn't even limit it using it in different places, but if you use it, let's say, from my experience, in the last weeks, I started also working on React projects, and I had let's say, only basic knowledge. And when creating this code, let's say, I need to be really cautious about what am I creating, and it's just I had the first PRs that had several rounds of reviews. So later on, I was maybe not accepting every edit at first, but manually going through and through. So I'm let's say, at least learning on the go, because it can be producing a lot of code.
Yeah. And also regarding this development cycle, how do you handle this pushbacks from the developments, let's say, when the QA team ask that, okay, this kind of should be fixed, and there's kind of conflict, and how these conflicts are resolved between the teams without delaying the production delivery?
I'm thinking from that perspective, if there's already a bug in production and you need to revert something. Okay, if it's from that perspective, yeah. Let's say developer is the one responsible. On-calls usually are the ones who, let's say, find what's going on because there are some alerts, etc., built on top of that. Then they will usually, let's say, find who was causing it. And then the one who is actually, or the one who caused the issue has to take this decision. Will they do, let's say, a quick hotfix? Or if it's a bigger one, they will do this rollback and everything else necessary to bring back this previous stable state. And then they will just do those fixes and later on develop and deploy again.
Have you had any experience that, let's say, development team had more priority than QA team, or how is this precedence? Is it kind of case by case, or there should be always a standard that, let's say, QA team takes the priority about the decisions that development team should follow it?
How to say, I wouldn't say that there are any ways that the development team affects the QA team, or we are always more those supporting engineers there. I would say we are actually more focused on creating the tooling, helping them debugging, and we also have this on-call position introduced. If we, let's say, see that there are some issues where we need to actually emphasize, and then there's on-call person who will go and investigate it, so the remaining team can work on their initiatives and stuff like that. But yeah, it usually means that it's like a rotation every week, and currently, like if there's one person, they are able to handle everything.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think it will be helpful and interesting for people. And guys, that was it. End of episode 18. I hope it will give some knowledge and experience to others like who also are interested in a QA. And every week we feature one IT specialist from the industry to share their experience. If you know or would like to be our next guest speaker, you can fill in the form under the description below, and our team will contact you and you can be our next guest speaker. Apart from that, have a nice day, guys, and see you in our next Dev Stand Up. Bye bye.
Thank you as well. It was really nice.
Yeah, bye.